So hi, everyone. There is this really long history of astronauts incorporating music into their missions to space, whether that's ground control playing music so that they can wake up to music every morning, or them bringing their own music to listen to while they're in space. There are even some astronauts who have brought their own musical instruments with them to play in space. So I'm here today with Rickey Minor, who is an amazing musician, music director, producer, composer, conductor, and just all-around artist. And he has had an unbelievable career in the music industry. He's had an opportunity to work with some of the biggest musical artists in the world, including Beyonce, Usher, Adele, Whitney Houston, and just so many others. He has been a musical director for the Grammys, the Oscars, and the Emmys, and he's also just an incredible human. Rickey, thank you so much for being here today with me to answer some of these questions.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here. This is so exciting.
So I guess to start us off, what really first inspired you to get into the music industry?
I believe that we all have a calling and we just have to listen to our voice and see what resonates for us to do. And there are many things that we could do and still many things that we still can do. So I think that for me, I love music. Like from day one, I love listening to it. I love how it made me feel. I love dancing to it. So I just did it because I loved it. And fortunately for me, I answered that call and decided that this is what I want to do. Even after going through school with a lot of scholarships and things, I went to UCLA, math, computer science, and music and math, of course, correlate. But I wanted to be like the Jackson 5. That's the first thing that happened to me. I heard them and I actually met them, went on their first promotional tour at a local YMCA where they were going around just taking pictures in different cities, and I auditioned for a dance contest for the Christmas party. And so I danced, and my mom spent her last $12 to buy me these boots that I wanted, to dance in. And I won. And it were 5 guys there, and they took their wigs and stuff off to take a publicity photo. And there I am standing next to Jackson 5. So if that wasn't a omen that this is what will happen in the future, I don't know what else could have been. But I've spent a few years, learning and practicing and had my singing group and all of that, and decided I wanted to play music because I just love the way it made me feel.
That's such a great story. I feel as if so often people aren't necessarily able to pursue that love or that desire to go into it. When do you think you recognized you had talent to actually try and go and pursue this dream that you had?
So after meeting the Jackson 5, I was like, okay, all right, that's got to be one sign at least that maybe I should try this. Started my own group and then group broke up because at that time, I think 11, something like that. So we broke up and at 13, I decided that I wanted to continue. So I sold Coke bottles and I did everything I could to pay for I got the Yellow Pages, but for those of you who don't know what that is, that's a book with phone numbers. and I found a school that taught, and I kind of talked to them about taking lessons, and I sold Coke bottles, empty Coke bottles and soda bottles to get enough money to take a lesson, and I take the bus. And I did that for about a year, just kept playing. And that was at 13 when I bought that first bass. And now by 16 years old, I'll send you some pictures too, because you
love to see them.
16 years old, I started my own group, and my uncle had just come back from Vietnam, and he took an interest in us and ended up managing us, and we performed at the local military bases because he had a connection there, and he helped us organize and incorporate in all the business side of it. And so that's my Uncle Frank. And then I said, okay, well, I can do this. But then the same thing. Now we're in high school and the band is not taking it serious enough for me. So I left the group in my senior year of school and just started, putting myself out there with all the big bands, small bands, wedding bands. I mean, I played the opening of an envelope. I was that happy to play. So if they say, hey, we open an envelope, we need a band, we'll be right there, So that was the fun. But I think that, once I had my son came to me at about 5 years old. And by now, I'm playing professionally and I'm working and everything. And he came home and said, Dad, can I ask you a question? I said, yeah. He says, do you work? I said, yeah, I work. I said, why do you ask that? He goes, well, my friend Johnny, his dad drops him off, and then Johnny says, my dad's going to work. He says, but every time you leave, you say you're going to play. So I said, well, you're right. I said, if you do what you love and love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. So I guess I still don't work.
That's such an incredible story, and so clearly shows how deep of a love and commitment you have to music to pursue just, the way you did to make it happen and to continue to get to success. That's incredible. Human spaceflight is obviously this incredibly complex thing with so many moving parts. It takes an entire ground team to plan and execute a mission and keep us safe. I have to imagine some of the musical events that you've executed in your career are equally as complex and take an enormous amount of coordination, logistics, bringing all the pieces together to actually make the magic happen. So for those who might not know, can you talk me through what a musical director actually does?
So from the first note to the last note and everything in between that. So there is putting together the repertoire, executing an arrangement that would suit that performance, and then the logistics of dealing with every department, because you have to deal with sound, editing, lighting, all the musicians, all of the union part of it, and then the personnel, because in order to get that magic, you have to be conscious of the energy that will be on that stage, because we have one focus, one job, and that's to execute and show the commitment to excellence. So whatever job you have, show up and show out. You got to get in there and be ready. And then for me, a lot of it is dealing with the production, the managers, the agents, the artists, and the band, and make sure that we're prepared and ready. But one of the things I found early on was how easy it can be. And that's when you put the artist first. So I'm not trying to tell them what to do or fix them. I'm trying to position them to where they can soar and meet them right where they are. I'm not fixing them. They don't need to be, they're not broke. They just may be unsure of which way to go. So I put out several options and we go back and forth with feedback, and I find what resonates to them. And one of the things that I say to all of them, if you speak to any of them, is I always say, listen, if you sing your truth, you can't mess it up. So get out of your head and get in your heart. Sing from a deeper place. Don't think about what people say. I mean, my grandmother said something to me a long time ago, and I still resonates to me every day. What people think about you is none of your business.
That's so
if you believe that they see you're incredible, then what happens when you believe that but not doing the work, or you believe that they see you're not good? Then you're like, well, you're sad because you're not good. Be the best version of you. Best friend, best wife, best husband, best boss, best worker. Be the best version. Whatever that day is for you, be the best version. You're good.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe for folks that would be considering this, when you take on a new project, where do you start? Like, what does the starting of your process look like to shape that?
Yeah. Well, at this, I had my own band and stuff, all that. So that taught me kind of the leader thing. And I think that, I've had, my grandmother even say, you were born a leader. So be careful what you say to people, what you ask them to do, because they're going to listen to you because you're coming from a place. So do your research first and see. So when I meet someone who's talented, like Whitney or Beyonce or Adele or whoever, I'm not trying to see what I can do to change them. I'm coming to see how I can add value to what you already have, so that you soar. Because if you soar, then the world benefits from it, not just me. And so that kind of energy is amazing. And Beyonce is a Virgo, so we really understand each other, because she's on the 4th and I'm on the 6th of September. So that work ethic, we laugh about it a lot of the times, because in the times that I've worked with her, because we're it's like, are you reading my mind, or what's happening here? But the same with Whitney, though, and I think that kind of voice comes, once in a lifetime, and she was so inspiring to all of those singers and to many more. And the first, I started with her, I was 22 and she was 18, trying to get a record deal, and I did the showcase, and the rest is history from there. But it's amazing, because she was like a little sister.
Yeah, that's incredible. Such a cool origin story. Is there anything, I know you kind of said just not trying to change them and showing up to meet them where they're at. Is there anything that really helps bring their ideas to life that you've uncovered?
Well, that's one thing that I'd say. The other thing is I come in with options. Here are options. Here's our. We have a clean slate. Let's paint. Let's try this. If it works, if it feels right, it's right. If it doesn't, let's keep looking.
Yeah.
You don't have to do anything. You don't have to do. You can say, this song doesn't resonate for me. And so that's more of my job, is connecting to the artist, finding the right song and the right treatment of it, and working and not letting go until we get it, until we have it. I mean, we're in no rush to do it, although there is a time constraint, especially like shows like the Oscars where, we're starting this Sunday and it's going to be on TV the following Sunday, live. So it's happening. And in your world, I mean, when there's liftoff, it's gone. I mean, we're in motion. So I find that's why I find it very interesting, this space travel, because it's so much like what I do, in terms of prepping, and it takes time. And I think a lot of people are in a hurry to do things, but I really believe it takes time. So give it time. It's going to take time. It's okay. Wait. We have to stand back and wait, because if you're rushing something for any other reason, then it has to be done now. I don't know. Does it really have to be done now if it's not the best? And so, or if in your condition, all the conditions have to be perfect. You just can't rush it. You can't.
Yeah. So maybe for some of our student audience, there's so many different career trajectories you can end up taking. I know I certainly didn't choose to end up studying violin. I ended up becoming an engineer. But do you ever work with younger kids and students? And if you do, what do you think is important about that, helping them discover what they want to do?
So I was fortunate to have my uncle, like I said earlier, in support of my mom and everything. But I think that there's so many things that we could do. And I think there's such a very negative thought about people, they say, quitting school or quitting a job or quitting. But I don't believe you ever quit. I think, I've never quit anything, but I did change my mind. And you have a right to change your mind. And so what resonates for you. And you can't live for someone else. You can't live for your mom or your uncle or your best friend, or you have to live your life and live your truth. And if you're not doing that, then you're not doing a service to yourself. So don't be afraid to try it. And if it resonates, and you're the one that can say, I've done this long enough and it's not locking in. And maybe I don't have the voice that I thought I had. I mean, I sound great in the shower, but I mean, I don't know what happens when I send it to stand phone.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know I've changed my mind many times in life, and that's that there are new and different paths. I'm wondering if you have any suggestions or what skills do you think are essential if someone does want to pursue music and does want to go into a career? Maybe it's directing, producing, or even just being a musician.
Okay, well, don't ask your parents, because most parents will say, you sound so beautiful, honey. And so you can't really trust them. They have a vested interest in saying that to you. It's because they love you and they want you to be happy, period. But I think, explore. Go on an exploration, give yourself and set a time so that you can check in with a professional. Once you feel you have it, then set a time limit on it. Say, I'm going to work on this for 3 months. And then I want to go into a school or find someone who is professional and listen to me and tell me what they think about it. Honestly, if this is something for you. I mean, it takes a lot to be an artist of any kind and be involved in something bigger than you, because it takes confidence. Am I worthy of contributing, or can I contribute at this level? But I think generally the answer is yes. If you have a passion that ignites something inside of you that is indescribable. You don't even know how to say it. I got goosebumps of it. Hair standing on your head, not in my case, but when I had hair, it was standing up. But at any rate, though, I think that, listen to your voice. It'll speak to you. Advice is what you ask when you already know the answer, in which you didn't. So you already know that maybe this isn't for you, or maybe you're not ready for it. You already know. So don't worry about asking because that's all opinions. Do the work. Do the work. A lot of people say, I'm out here trying to make it happen. That's not the formula. Do the work and watch it happen. It's going to happen, but you have to do your part first.
So kind of in that vein, do you think it's more work ethic or talent to succeed? Do you think it's a combination?
Yeah, I think it's a calling first. Like and there's many things that you can do and many things that you'd be great at. But what is the thing that's calling you, that's saying, come over here. We not only want you here, but we need you here in this space to be a part of this, to change the history of it, the trajectory, the first, whatever it is, first woman, first person of color, first judge to decide to fly, be an astronaut. I mean, there's so many things that you could do. And if you're not the first, I'm the 100th to do it. I don't care what the number is, but I did it. I did it because I went to it and I did the work.
So if you were talking to a music student or any student today, hoping to work in maybe the music industry, for instance, is there any specific advice you would give them?
Well, like I said before, I think advice, they already know. They already know that they want to do it. They already know they can. They just have to do it. And there are some that already know that I couldn't hold a note in a paper bag. So it's not something, but I can still sing in the shower, at home. I can sing along with the artist at the concert, but I'm not a singer. Like I can't hear pitch, but I love it. So I'm saying, make a conscious decision, not one based on you're going to be an artist and you're going to do this, you're going to do that. If it's not your calling, if it's not one of your many callings, because we can do many things. It's not one thing that we can do and that's it.
Yeah, definitely. I know for me, music is so important in many parts of my life. I listen to music to feel and process emotions in a lot of different situations. Getting energized when you exercise, staying focused while work, or just sitting and thinking. As a composer, do you think about emotions when you're writing new music?
No, I go inward. I go inward because it's, for me at least, it's inside out, never outside in. Mm-hmm. So it has to come from inside of you, and then it'll go out. But if you take in all that's coming at you, then you have no way to understand what is, again, your truth. What is your truth in this moment? So if I'm going to write something very dramatic or emotional or whatever it is, I walk all the time. I don't watch a lot of TV, or I don't do a lot of other activities other than, work out, walk, and breathe and live life and spend time with people, because we have to connect or else you're in a bubble. But when it comes time to write, fortunately, I know what my deadlines are, and I'm not a procrastinator, so I start early, and I was probably finished by the time I thought I should start. It's that kind of crazy, because I have to have, I have legal paths for legal paths. They're friends, but they're separate, and I keep each project separate. I have different teams working on several projects all at once so that we move everything forward. Everyone knows what's expected of you or expected of them. And I think we all know what's expected of us, so we just have to do it, sit down and do it. And once you start, it just flows. But I think a lot of times in our mind, it's like, okay, I'm not ready, or it's not ready, or this is not the thing, but it'll come to you. You just have to clear the energy and clear the space. And sometimes it takes a nice long walk. I've written things where I'm out walking on the beach and it comes to me and I've got my phone and I'm like singing da 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 dee, da ba da dee da dee da, and I'm singing all these little things. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be so good. And then sometimes it's not, and I go next. Everything is, there's nothing perfect. It's not a perfect world, it's not a perfect you. But the thing is, but if I push myself to do my best and be honest with myself about it before I let somebody hear it, but then I may think it's not ready, and they say, it's not, but you're close. You're close. What about changing this to this and put the ending, start with what you think is the ending, put that at the front. You got these horns at the top, then I said, wait, it makes me feel good. Chances are, people will feel your energy, even if they don't even know what the song is about,
I'm curious, Given your just extensive knowledge of music, if you had to pick one song or soundtrack to take with you to space, what would you choose?
Oh, wow. Okay. Song, almost anything by Quincy Jones, because he not only set the stage for someone like me to come behind him and mentor me in a way, but he built the stage. Like there would be nothing to stand on if he had laid that out in front. So I consider him a number one. So pretty much anything, but the thing, I love the early stuff, the Killer Joe. I love the album, The Dude was a great album. And then all the stuff he did with Patty Austin and James Ingram and Rod Temperton and all that stuff. It just had so much heart to it. It was nothing contrived with it. He spent time finding the right songs and finding the right arrangers, and if he didn't do it himself, and finding the right orchestrators and the right engineers and studio and all of that. It's real detailed work to produce and to be an artist. So I think that's it. Did that answer the question?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, the Quincy stuff really holds to me. Another one like that for me, and I have a picture of her in my house, is Nancy Wilson, and I got to meet her and work with her, and her singing was just so touching. Shirley Horn, Here's to Life. That album is really touching because I always think about how short it is. Like, when you're young, you go, I got plenty of time. And then as you get older, you go, well, wait a minute. Somebody's taking my time. I need that time back. I haven't done all the things that I want to do yet. And so, but yeah, but you have to make room for as the world turns, we have to make room for each other and embrace each other and help each other through this wonderful journey.
You obviously have many, many suggestions of people. I think it probably would be hard for you to pick one piece. If you were laying out, I don't know, like a playlist for 5 days on a mission, what would be your thought process in approaching that?
So I'm so happy that I love it all. So I'll have classical, jazz, R&B, hip hop, meditation music. So I would have probably some of all of it in there. And there are moments where I really like silence. I like to just be and let myself feel, because a lot of times we lean into, we have to have this or that or else we're not balanced. But there's some balancing that we can do ourselves. And that's what I would encourage people to find what that is for you. Is it yoga? Is it meditation? Is it martial arts? Whatever that thing is for you, find a space where you can access your soul and what you're feeling at that moment. Because I think sometimes we listen to music to dance or to that it's not going to make you emotional, but you need to be in touch with that emotion, be it a loved one that's lost, that you've lost, and I think it's important to connect. And music is such a high vibration. I mean, it can change the molecular structure. I mean, people, they put music on for people in hospital that's in a coma, and things change. They go, wait, the heart rate is up. What's going on? And that's what's happening. That music, the sound, the tone of a voice, of an instrument, of someone talking to you is like, they start talking, and all of a sudden your shoulders become putty because their voice is so serene.
Yeah. I'm pretty interested to see what the music just of the spacecraft is. You'll have thruster firings and valves clicking and fans running, and I think it'll be honestly a pretty musical environment, even if we are in relative silence up there. Pretty incredible to think about. Fast questions. If the opportunity ever arose, would you go to space?
Yes, with a side of yes. That would be a kick in the head. I started taking helicopter lessons, flying a helicopter, and yeah, I was really terrified at first because I thought this is great. And then I thought, hey, wait, I don't know what I'm doing, But fortunately, the instructor has a handle on it. But there is something about the outer space and what we've learned in this time that we've been alive, and all that was recorded before us, and so it definitely interests me.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that you also would go if the opportunity came. If you did go, who would you take to space and why?
Who would I take to space? Well, I can't go back in time because I definitely take my grandmother, because she never even flew on the plane because she was terrified that how can that plane have all these people and all that luggage and not crash? Yeah, so she never took a plane. She took a bus everywhere. But I said, who would I take? I probably take my wife and my daughter, because that's an experience that you definitely want to share. And yeah, she's young, so this would be really just blow her mind. It would blow my mind too, but for her to leave that for her would be incredible. But I know it'll be a while before we're shuttling up, families.
Maybe closer than we think, but I love that idea of bringing your family with you. And last question, what food would you take to space?
Well, so I'm vegan, so I would have all the vegetables and all the hummus and carrots and all of the good stuff. Yeah, it makes well, not only eating healthy helps you thinking all the things, but it helps you feel great, and I think it gives you, who knows, maybe it gives you another week, another 10 years, or who knows. But I like the way it makes me feel. And I worked in junior high school. I worked in the cafeteria, and so I saw how the chicken was made, and I was like, maybe I don't want to eat that, And that started then. So I still kind of lean heavily into that way. It's like the way it makes me, no judgment.
Also, most excited for vegetables in space, so I can relate to that one.
Yeah. So what's your go-to vegetable in space?
I think we'll find out. I think hopefully we'll get some carrots and some celery and some bell peppers maybe, but it'll kind of be up to whatever the team at SpaceX ends up packing for us that day. But I'm very excited to have some veggies.
Yeah, well, so am I. Well, I'm so excited about this journey. I'm happy to have been a part of it in a small way.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for all your song suggestions. I'm definitely going to go back and start working on my own playlist. But
and I like some Sade too. Don't leave out Sade.
All right.
All right. That's nice and mellow, and I just kind of floating along,
Totally. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much for your insights and your time today.
Indeed. Everyone's worth your time.
Absolutely.
Well, maybe I'll see you soon.
Yeah.